Good afternoon, guys. Scott from SE Landscaping in the sunny northeast. This weather doesn't know what it's doing from one day to the next. We can have snow, sleet, -10, and today we've got 11 degrees. So in the space of 3 days, that's how the temperatures have changed. It is absolutely madness at the moment. So, but what I want to talk about today is I've had a few people asking me questions of what hours I put in a week, and it's what I would start with is it's a bit less than I used to, but there's benefits to what the benefits now I am seeing from the hard work and toil I did years ago. And basically I'll explain. Once I went self-employed and started working for myself in the early days, and sort of for the first 6 months it was pretty quiet, and then things pick up. And when I landed my first parish council contract, I was, apart from a guy I had on part-time, I was pretty much doing a lot of the stuff myself. And an average week consisted of leaving the house at 5 o'clock, and this parish council had a park that we had to man. I actually pay somebody to do it now, but at the time I used to basically go and do my daily jobs and things, and then on a night I would be in the park till 9 o'clock on a night. And what I used to do is, where I have an attendant now in the park who just sits and just does bits of lip picking and stuff, on the night from 5 till 9 I used to do sort of things like grass cutting and things and keep the park tidy. So I used to, like I say, I started at 5 o'clock on the morning, used to finish at 9 o'clock on a night, and that was 7 days a week. And yes, you could say I worked myself into the ground. I put in a hell of a lot of hours, and it was like Groundhog Day. Half the battle was, like I say, I liked what I did, and I still like what I do. I love my job, so it wasn't a chore. Like, you get some people who, I have friends who go into factories every day, and it's like this weight on the shoulder that they don't want to go to. Leave, go and find another job or something like that. There's plenty of options. Life's too short to be miserable at work. So that's pretty much how it used to be. I used to put in the hours, and as well as that, one or two of them years I was actually training for marathons. So what I was doing was, at lunchtime while on site, I would go out for an hour's run and things like that. So as well as putting in 16-hour shifts, like I say, the lunchtime was spent exercising. So this sounds unbelievable, but anybody who knows me will vouch for this all being true. Like I say, as the business started to grow even more and I could start to employ people, then yeah, I reduced the hours, and I knocked Sundays were the first things to go because I needed some family time. And just dropped something on the floor there. So Sundays were the first thing to go because I did need some family time, and then gradually, like I say now, 13, 14 years on, whatever it is, I don't work as much as I used to. The good thing is, putting all those hours in and not having to pay anybody meant all the money was for myself in the early days, and that is one big part of how I've built up my tool itinerary. Because if you're paying someone £300 a week, yes, although you need them, I worked bloody hard in the early days. That money was saved and bought tools, and constantly bought tools, to the point now, like I say, where I've got pretty much everything I need, and I'm renewing constantly, as you guys know. So nowadays, now that I employ people, my day typically starts at 6 AM. That is winter hours. I'll go down the yard at 6 AM. I'll make sure all the vans start, and I'll load up all the vans ready to go out. And the reason I do that, you might say, well, why when your lads are coming in at 7:30 on the morning, why aren't you getting them to do that, and why aren't you having an extra hour in the house? And there's a simple answer to that. If I didn't load everything up, then the guys forget things, and also they come in at say 7 or 7:30. It takes half an hour to load up and half an hour to get out of the unit, whereas I'm already loaded up. All they need to do is come to my desk on a morning and pick up the notepad of where they're going and pick up the keys and know they're ready to go. Everything's loaded up, everything's set, and apart from machine breakages, I shouldn't hear from them or any other problems. So that's how I do it. Summer hours, I can still be out, to be fair. I can leave at 5 o'clock, but I'm trying not to. I can leave the house at 5 o'clock in the morning, but I'm trying not to leave as early nowadays. So in an ideal world, I will go down at sort of 7:15, have the vans ready for 7:30. Then we have the meeting where if I go early, I'll leave them a note. If I am there, we'll have a bit of a meeting of where everybody's going and what everybody's doing. And then they'll go off and do the daily jobs. And I try to get sort of out of the unit on a night by 5 o'clock. Winter time, obviously it's a bit earlier, it's 3:30 usually because it's dark, but summertime I try to get out at 5 o'clock so you can spend a bit of time with your family on a night or do something else. So that is what I do along those lines. And weekend wise, last year I tended to just work Saturday mornings, so Saturday afternoons and Sundays were the same again. It was family time. And just, like I say, trying to pack as much work as you can into that 5.5 days. So, and that it worked last year. Sometimes throughout the year, not so much this year, because I think I've said before I've priced a couple of jobs recently, but apart from that I don't intend to price much. Sometimes in years gone by I've spent half a day where I've had to go out and price jobs and things like that. That won't be the case this year, so I'm sort of saving time there. And then invoicing, to be honest, when I do invoicing, whichever Sunday lands near the end of the month, what I tend to do is get up early on a Sunday morning. What I mean early is by 4 o'clock, and usually I can have everything, all my invoices bashed off by 9, 10 o'clock in the morning, scanned and sent off. Sort of 6 hours, that usually works, because I don't do generic invoices, because anybody in our trade knows that you're not just cutting the grass all the time. You might be asked to do this and do that and do this on a site. Yeah, some are the same where they're paying the same money, but a lot of my customers, parish councils, they drop an extra works on you and things, so you need to sit down and go through the invoice and add all these extra bits up that you've made a note of in your diary. So, like I say, once a month, Sunday, I'll do that. But the hours are, like I say, a lot more manageable now than I used to. But the funny thing is, I've still got sort of the drive. I could very easily, if I really wanted to, I could expand this business even more and push on and really drive and put more hours in. But we're making enough. We have a good set of clients at the moment, a lot of them long term, and I'm happy where the business is at. Like I've always said, the downside is getting good members of staff. If 2 or 3 good members of staff came along and they were there for a year or two, then yeah, you might look at it again and push it on. But as we stand at the moment, that's pretty much my day. I know a lot of guys are late starters and late finishers. Some of you guys don't go out till sort of 8, half 8 on a morning, and you're still out at sort of 6, 7 on a night. I'm an early bird. I'm always out of bed, so I'd rather get out, get the work done, and like I say, your day's done and you've got a bit of time on an afternoon or an evening, and especially in the summer, for sort of family time. So that's, like I say, I've been asked a couple of times questions about hours and stuff, and that's pretty much everything I can think of in a nutshell of the hours I put in and the hours I've put in the past. And like I say, in the early days, if any of you guys are just setting off now, you might look at that and think, I couldn't do 16 hours a day for, I think it was about 18 months, apart from when the winter came, and obviously it was finishing at 4. The summers and everything were sort of that many hours a day, so you were getting in, you were having a late tea and pretty much straight in bed. And you might say it's not a life, but to be fair, without doing that, I don't know if my business would be in the position it is now. So the hard work has paid off, but not everybody would want to do that. People might say, I think you're mad, I wouldn't do the 16-hour shifts a day, but it was my choice at the end of the day, and it was up to me to make the decision, and that's what I wanted to do. So I hope the video has helped, guys, and I hope it gives somebody some insights into what you need to do to build a business. Some people, yes, you might say, I'm just happy just to earn a few £100 a week, and if I can earn a little bit more in the summer, then that pays for the winter and I don't go out. Good on you, if that's what you want. It is entirely dependent on your situation and what you want as an individual. That's what I'd say, and everybody's different, and don't let anybody else tell you that what's right for you. I'm giving you this is my sort of this is my how I did things. This isn't my advice to you to go out and start doing 16 hours. It has got to be the right situation for you. If you're driven and you think, yes, that's what I want to do, I want to do that, and I want to do as many hours as I can, then fair enough, but it's got to be right for you. And then the other thing is, you've got to be lucky with health, because in this trade, I mean, yes, you can get flus and colds and stuff for being out, but you can also pick up bad backs and things that can knock you to pot. And if you're midsummer and you're lifting a mower off the van and your back goes, you're pretty goosed if you're working on your own. So you've got to, like I say, by doing the fitness that I used to do a lot more of than I do now, it kept me going as well. But a lot of people, like I say, you've just got to be careful, because you hear of people getting injured or picking up diseases or whatever, and that's the problem. That can affect your business as well, and that can finish you off if you're a sole trader on your own. So hope the video has helped, guys, and hope the sun stays, and we will see you on the next one.